feel like you might be autistic or you might be ADHD, but neither one of them like really totally fit? That might be because you're both. Now look, YouTube is not therapy, and in no way is this video meant to diagnose. However, I think it's important that we talk about what autism and ADHD look like together, because it looks really different than when you have just one or the other. For example, you might not show any impulsivity or hyperactivity, and therefore you feel like you can't possibly be ADHD. However, internally, you're incredibly hyperactive. Your mind is all over the place, always running a mile a minute, but you don't act that way because you're also autistic. A lot of autistic folks don't necessarily have an intuitive understanding of how to act in social situations, and so instead, we follow a strict script. And we know that that script does not involve running around, getting out of our seat when we're not supposed to, fidgeting, all of that stuff, so we don't do it. Even though internally, we're doing all of that, and we would like to be doing it in the real world too. So on the outside, it looks like you're not autistic or ADHD, when really you're both. Another good example of this is the window of tolerance. A lot of autistic people are very easily overstimulated, right? Too much stimulation sends us like, it's too much. However, a lot of ADHDers get very understimulated very easily. If we don't have enough stimulation, we are so bored it is physically painful. So we have a very narrow window where we actually feel appropriately stimulated. Because you need stimulation, you might think you're not autistic, and because you get overstimulated, you might think you're not ADHD, when again, you could be both. Being ADHD comes with all kinds of contradictions like these, but we don't talk about it very much because until 2014, you weren't actually allowed to be diagnosed with both autism and ADHD. It was thought that you just had one or the other. So we've really only been even exploring the possibility of ADHD for like a decade, which is not very long. If all of this is resonating and you're starting to think you might be autistic and ADHD, again, I'm not a therapist. I can't diagnose you. However, I am ADHD myself, and I would love to work with you as a life coach. So life coaches, again, can't diagnose anything. I'm not a therapist. However, I can use my lived experience to help you with yours. A lot of my clients really love just talking to someone who gets it, and that's a huge thing that I can offer you. In addition to like a million tips, accommodations, strategies, and more. Go to my website, theneurocuriosityclub.com, to check out what coaching with me might look like.